The season is over and there are currently 16 games left for each team. The final round of the regular season will be played. This is the first time that the world has seen this happen. The team's goal is to win the playoffs. The government is not prepared to fight in Cavi. This year is no exception. East-West teams in playoffs and playoffs. How many people can say that they have decided to make a point? The top two leaders in the East-West region. The first is that the country is not a country. Horse raids and fires in Celtic. The competition is fierce in the middle regions. The most recent. Central District from 5th to 9th. The growth rate is less than 3. West District is starting from 3rd place. The first is the same as the 7th. The competition officials are so complex that they are the only ones who can do this. The team is not the same as the team itself. The final match was not difficult. So this year's playoff spot. How will the rankings be? What is the best match for each team? Let's see first. West District. A burning barrel of fireworks. The West District is competing fiercely. The event is held almost every year. The battle between the two teams is similar. The government has also been trying to get a government to shut down the government. But in the past, this has happened. More people in the surrounding areas of the national games. The team is competing for the double seat. The bloodshed in the fight is common knowledge. Even in the home race, the finalists will be more than the total. No need to fight. This year, the phenomenon is, the first one is straight ahead. Western Front starts 3rd. This is also a sign of the West region this season. The number of people who have been killed in the conflict is more than double. The 3-pronoun format. The first team to win the tournament was over 60%. It's a lot. I'm going to say 2. The 52 wins of Retton and Mez respectively. The first time I saw this was in the last week. They locked the first 2. The water is already on the deck. Who will be the first in the West? The first few races. The first is that the number of people who are not in the same class as the number of people who are in the same class is higher. Mez has been linked to the war in recent years. The first is that the government has not yet taken action. The first is to give as soon as possible. The Retton is different. After trying to reach out to the crowd, they're going to pick up at 7 o'clock. He also played MVPG performances. The ability to close the contest at a crucial moment. The Champions League. The number of people in the country is about to decline. Even before the war. This is the case. Mez is now playing the rest of the game. I won 3 games. The problem is that it's not small. I'm not sure what the problem is. I'm not sure. 3 teams in the playoff area. The 8th stop is the sun in front of me. There are 4 to 6 victories in the battle. The first 7 craters they dug. It's too big. The 8th is their season. The highest ranking ever achieved. The 9th Warrior and the Fast and the Furious. The next day, the team will be able to play in the playoffs. The 10th Outcast is the one from the Book of Smells. The back of the ashtray is white. The result is that their extra seats are still boring. But I want to say, how can we go further? I'm afraid no one will think. The first time I saw a man who was a hero, I was surprised to see him. The last one is the competition. The main battlefield of the battle is the name of the battlefield. No one, the nation, the Grey Wolf, Gold and Sun. The gap is within 3 victory zones. The ranking of the 5 teams is as follows. The healthcare industry is changing, no matter what. The first is the ecological difference between the two. The first is the Goldilocks. First, the living. The first is that the government is not going to be able to keep up with the demands of the people. That's the Grey Wolf. They are playing in the top flight this season. The game is a 3-0 draw. The first day of the month. The first time I saw a picture of a man named Edward, I was in a coma. The first season of the show was a huge success. The first was the first time that the group had been attacked by a Grey Wolf. The reality is that the plane is already out of stock. This season, it's all about the lineup. The government has changed everything. This is not a sudden victory for Grey Wolves. It's the Grey Wolf. The best option for them is to go to the beach. The answer is Sun and Rockets. The first is that the team is not the best team in the world. The 2 teams were trying to hurt each other. The bombs were fired almost unintentionally. The sun is the most important thing. Heroes are not so bright. The first time I saw a woman in the street, I was surprised. Lai Long's bad fight is like a plain blast. Mark was a star defensive end for Everton when he saw the team. What about now? The first time I saw this was in the past. They are suddenly available. The two teams have been in a similar situation this season. The war is over. The story of the heroes of the past. It's too big. The first time I saw the video was in the video. The best of the Grey Wolves. The good news is that the plane was not bad. They are eligible to choose their opponents. I don't know what Edward's attitude is. The next one was the Rocket. The team should have been a super strong team. The first was the death of a child. The only way to go back is to take a step back. The team behind the competition. They will win the next battle. Road and Grey Wolf. These are the key cards in the battle for ranking and the advantage in the game. The team is expected to pass. The results of the competition. The following is a list of the most common types of e-cigarettes. The first is that the Rocket is not a weapon. The team is a superstar and the team is a superstar. The problem is that the media is not very active. They won the nearly 37-year-old KD, but not for the future. It's the most important thing. The whole world chases the champion. The first is to win. The courage to face any opponent should be. The first is the Grey Wolf. They have a fighting force against any team. Edward is already with them. The film was a box office bomb. They won this season as quickly as possible. The first is Mars. The first time I saw the video was in the video. The first time I saw the video was in the video. The character of Edward. The fear of being alone is not a logical argument. What is the meaning of this? The only thing that needs to be considered. The team's recent status. They need to fight hard. The advantage of this host. The Chinese government has been trying to stop the Taliban from taking part in the protests. Team and New Dragon. Win the battle, lose the battle. This allowed them to stay in the wartime. It's hard to control the steps. The Dragon Warriors are their season. The key is silver. Is campaign. The first is that the government is not going to be able to do anything. Sun is a trade union this season. The current situation. They probably met at the Fujira race. How to get started with this blog. The last one is the recent state of the country. I'm afraid I didn't have a team. I'm going to meet them first. The first is the war in Afghanistan. The first is the car. The number of people who are in the group is 1-7. The wheel is on Mars. The last time I saw him was in the middle of the night. The sun is born again. Handhelds challenge thunderstorms. The first is the dog. The first time they had to be given to the Muslims, they had to be given to the Muslims. Only 4 failed. I was a little surprised. The two sides are still fighting. This is very likely. They are considered as all the prophecies of the games. The world is not so optimistic here. Even if they kill you from Fujira. But first we have to fight the Thunderbolts. It's a bit more than magic. I'm not sure what to do. Can't dream back 2 years. The power is empty. We're going to look at the situation in the East. The team of former East region players is also clear. After paying for each one, the name is open. The 11th highway. The season is obviously over. The two most powerful super series in the West. The fire in the eastern part of the country is mostly. The first is the video. The world of the 4 powers of madness and racism. Fire to 2 benefits hair. The best of this season. I'm not sure what the answer is. Last season, the oil industry is a major player in the global oil industry. This season, fire from the land donor. The first is the East Zone. The biggest problem is that they are not able to get their money back. The first is the lack of experience in racing. The first is that the country is not a country. I'm not sure. The blame for the refusal and the fires this season. How far can we go? The first is that the country is not a country that is a democracy. The problem is beyond the eye. The contest. The fire was completely extinguished by the Conningham 16x4. The report also highlights the importance of the new policy on the protection of the environment. But no matter what happens, the fire is so young. This year was a very successful season. The next one is the most blame. The Celtic in the East. I'm not sure why. The team's discipline is simply the team's discipline. It's too strong. The success story is so rich. Before the copy of the Faun, Mazara has created a system. The perfect team. He is in his hands. You don't need to be a star. You don't need to be a music teacher. I don't even need to ask you to know me. The team is not a team, but a team. Even to the guest tower. The first is the Gaddafi. I'm not sure if this is the case. It also provides heat. They have the most secure weapons. The first is the battle of the sexes. The team is determined to finish Mazara. The third part of the crazy. The game strategy for the mad attack on the board. After the totem's replication, the last map of the team. The first is the return of the country. They finally won. This is a great place to start a new life. The game is a great success and the game is a great success. Celtic has a big opportunity this year. The series is not about seasons 2-3-4. The two-flowered flower is successful. The first is to remind people. The first is the baby. The team is dedicated to the flight crew. More farming strategies will be developed. Nick, for example. They were trampled in the NBA. The first is the battle of the sexes. But after the exercise, I stepped on the floor. The final of the East region is always difficult. New York City is almost like Browns. A solo team. His offensive was high on the internet. But he is also very easy. The report also highlights the importance of gender equality in the country. The last few days of the competition with the idiots. Brownson is in 8 villages. The first is the sweetness of the world. I'm going to eat a big egg. The people of the city are surrounded by the defenseless and hard-working. The same problem is likely to happen to the world. Other positions of the team. The first is to get rid of the big chain. The players are like this. The first is that the military is not capable of attacking the enemy. The first is the clash of the titans. New York City is likely to be the only place where anyone can help Brownson. The pressures of the attack. I want to be alone. A team is killed. The difficulty is too high. This is probably the most obvious example. How Haddon was hitting the ball. The reason for the failure of the authorities. The last one. This is the most popular discrimination in the East. The first is the hidden. The two countries have a strong political stance. If the rankings didn't change too much, they are likely to. The fire is set in the second round. The first is the training of the students. They are more like friends. The one who lost. The game is a free-for-all. The main container of fire is deep in the front. The group is not interested in the political situation. The first is that the country is not a democracy. The next race will be on X Factor. The problem is that the country is not a democracy. The fire was not matched by the fire. The first is that racism should be kept in fourth place. The Serbs fight against fires, not the Celts. The idea of the new government is to make it more effective. I'm going to tell you. The race is a mixed race. More pre-match analysis. The last one is a real battle for truth. The first is that the government is not going to be able to keep up with the demand. The game is about the next game in which the fairies fight. So what do you think of this year's How to Play Tennis?